Ladies and gentlemen, hot diddly damn, we've got a juicy news post this morning. We have got another look into the God alignment prayers that Jagex talked a little bit about last year. This is going to be upcoming with the While Guthix Sleeps quest. We're going to get a little look into what they have planned for like the Guthix prayers and then a couple of the other quest lines that are finished. Later this year, we'll bring back one of the most iconic RuneScape quests ever. We already know that, While Guthix Sleeps. I'm hype, you're hype, everyone's hype around the world. Today though, we want to start the conversation around one of the biggest new additions, that of course being the God alignment prayers, which is inspired by Ninja Pig's popular suggestions. I made a whole video about it. You should go check it out if you want, just to be sure. Here's what it looks like, but go check them out if you want the OG insight. Now we're going to talk about how Jagex has taken his idea for themselves and made it their own. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? I'll leave that up to you to decide. I'm not a judge, jury, but I am a damn executioner. And we are confident that those learnings will make the Rites of Balance one of the most exciting shakeups we've ever seen. I don't doubt that, actually. I have a feeling that this is going to be very game-changing, maybe in some positive ways, but I kind of wonder if it's going to be in some negative ways as well. Today's news post will give us some greater context for the God alignment prayers, and for the first time we'll see how they plan to create them for every god in Gilianor, or at least for the ones that they have so far. And how players might gain access to them, which is important because we didn't really know exactly how we were going to unlock these until now. Okay, first up, lore and thematics. Ooh. Brother, ooh.
Brother,
What's
ooh.
that? Since those are 3 quest lines that will be finished. Desert Treasure 2, of course, being the finish for there. Song of the Elf being the finish for Seren. And then I guess While Guthix Sleeps being the finished final quest line for that. So those will be 3 separate God alignment prayers that we will get our hands on eventually. So the next 4 gods on their list will get their own God alignment prayers, but not until later, probably when their quest lines are more fleshed out or perhaps finished. For example, Saradomin, Zamorak, Armadil, and Bandos, the Goblin Boy. Now, here's where we get into the juiciness. Here's the aligning the design. Here's where we get to see what they've been up to back there in Jagex HQ. And they teamed up with Ninja Pig to give us a breakdown of the prayers, so they actually are working together. That's good. I was afraid that they might have just, claimed the whole thing for themselves. Not saying Jagex would do that. I'm not saying that, but I could see that, is what I'm saying. So before we begin, remember, these are only just kind of the basics. No specific numbers. They're just telling us about what the prayers are going to be like. We're not getting like damage outputs. We're not getting the nerd calculations. Here is the Rites of Balance for Guthix, for the While Guthix Sleeps. So they give you 4 prayers for each of them. They have Strike Balance. This is a standard prayer. Attacks have a blank percent chance. Remember, they're not giving you specific numbers today. A certain chance to grant the player Adaption is a new status that provides bonuses to accuracy, maximum hit, and prayer penetration. Not only is that a great alliteration, but damn, that sounds hot, to other combat styles. So you can actually strike through prayer like other bosses do. That is crazy. Neutrality, which is a standard prayer as well. This player's maximum hit is decreased by a certain percent, while their minimum hit is increased by another certain percent. That sounds kind of cool. So you're going to be hitting higher, but you're not going to be hitting as high as you could. That sounds like that's got some pretty interesting potential as well. I like this. So they've really got it suited to Guthix, right? The balance is there. The numbers are numbering, if you know what I'm saying. Nature's Redemption, which is a new overhead prayer, heals the player by 40% of their hit points level if they fall below 10% of their maximum, which will then drain their prayer points fully. That one's kind of scratching my head. I got my little finger scratching up and down my noggin right there. And then Natural Selection, which is another overhead prayer. Damage above a certain percent of your maximum hit points heals nearby allies. So that could maybe be good for like group bossing. Haven't quite decided if they want to unlock all of the prayers immediately, like if you have to unlock them retroactively, or if you get them all at once. But you can expect at least a couple to arrive as soon as they are all unlocked. So Strike Balance really rewards you for switching gear and combat styles in encounters like the Gauntlet or Tombs of a Masket. That's huge. Natural Succession also sounds really interesting as it lets players convert damage taken into healing for their friends. So like we mentioned, kind of like Vengeance, but it helps too maybe in a group setting, like in the wilderness or if you're in a clan. Lots of interesting possibilities for their Jagex. I'm liking that one, you son of a gun. Okay, let's check out the Ruinous Powers now for the Desert Treasure 2 Zaros, or Zaros? I think it might be Zaros. So first off, they have Umbra's Vow. These are interesting. If you remember from Ninja Pig's designs, these are pretty sick with it. So Umbra's Vow is a standard prayer prayer, which attacks drain your opponent's defense level by a blank % of damage dealt to a blank % of their maximum defense. So this is going to be more, I think, combat focused, more focused on actual like attack, defense, and perhaps, you know, KOing your opponent up and down the damn street. Then we have Fuma's Vow. Standard prayer. Upon being poisoned, the player gains poison severity as an accuracy bonus for their next attack. So that has me also a little peeved. So the more stronger the poison that you are infected with, the infection, you could potentially be doing more damage back. So maybe if you're like going up against someone with a dragon dagger, perhaps, or maybe some other sort of poisonous weapons, they could you could somehow be, I don't know, fighting back. I don't really know. That's an interesting one. Now, Glacius's Vow. Another standard prayer, of course, gain a blank % of defense bonus while the user is standing still. I'm talking tank testing. I'm saying you're walking through in full Justiciar. You got the whole damn squad on, and you're standing still? I don't know what you'd be standing still for, but you'd be tanking defense like crazy. That sounds pretty cool too. I would use that because I'm afraid to ever go anywhere. I'd be standing still. Okay, so a tanking prayer. And then Kruer's Vow, another standard prayer. After killing a target, you convert a certain amount of prayer points into hit points. So this is good for my PKers and my, I mean, is it PKers or is it only says killing a target. So I'm wondering if it's players specifically or if it's monsters too. I bet it's just players. This to me screams PvP. This to me screams murdering your friends and family. In the game, dude. Okay, so these are similar to what they pitched for Desert Treasure 2 with the Ruinous Powers, but apparently they've seen a great deal of reworking. So they work slightly different. You can only have one prayer from the roster activated at a time. So you can only have one of these vows going at once. You cannot have them all simultaneously working together, which probably makes sense. But you can combine them with your regular prayers, they say. So here's Umbra's Vow. Umbra believes the best defense is a good offense. We talked about that. You kind of switch one for the other. So you can explore a more consistent way to provide defense reduction. That sounds pretty cool, especially if you use like the Dragon Warhammer. If you speckle, if you with the Dragon Warhammer, they go, ow, bro. Yeah, you're done. You're balanced. You're gone. Get out of here, dude. So by targeting minimum defense instead of total defense, you can kind of raise the power of the prayer without making it seem so imbalanced. So it kind of is like a scale, you know, you're either one or the other. We kind of figured that out. Now, Fumus rewards those willing to endure the creeping pain of poison. This is a very niche offensive prayer, which will introduce new ways to tackle poisonous enemies. Okay, so this might be more tailored towards the lizard men. If you watched my hardcore series, you know that's how I just freaking died, was by a lizardman poison. So instead of using the serpentine helm, you could use this prayer and actually maybe benefit from being poisoned. Jagex, you've done it again, you bastard. Alright, and then the last set of prayers they have for us today is the Covenant of Light. This is, of course, for Seren, for the Song of the Elves. So first up, we have Slumber. This is a standard prayer. Now, it has a negative effect time, so such as, like, bleed, poison, burn, venom, and so on. They are frozen while this prayer is active. Dude, my hardcore Iron Man heart is beating. Imagine you're not paying attention like a dang fool. You get poisoned, you get burned, venom, you switch this prayer on, and the effect stalls? Dude, that's got me scratching my chin in a fever dream. That sounds pretty good. I can see lots of uses for that if you're like, you know, panicking, you got poison, you're trying to run to the bank, you're trying to skedaddle back to the bank as fast as you can before the poison ticks away your life. Yo, I like that. Crystalline Redemption, another overhead prayer. Heals the player by 25% of their base prayer level if they fall below 20% of their maximum hit points. So that then drains their prayer fully. But yo, okay, so it's kind of like Redemption, but with a little twist. And then Harmonize. Incompatible with Guiding Strike. So that's the next one. We haven't got that far yet. So these make this prayer makes attacks vulnerability for 1 tick. Vulnerability is a new status that increases damage taken by a blank %. Okay, so you attack stronger? Guiding Strikes, which is incompatible with Harmonize. Guiding Strikes. This is attacking increases nearby allies by a % of your chosen style's attack bonus. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, this one's kind of hurting my head a little bit. Let's go back to the news post. Okay, so Crystalline Redemption is of course a redemption variant. This one adds even more variety by healing the user at a slightly higher threshold of the nature's redemption. So it gives you a wider variety of situations too. Okay, that makes sense. And then Harmonize. Okay, this prayer rewards you for coordinating with your teammates, allowing you to deal extra damage when you all strike on the same tick. I'll be honest, Jagex has really gone above and beyond with the intricateness of some of these prayers, which is good. And then they give you another survey, brother. Ooh. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the new things they've talked about today. We only got to look at 3 of the upcoming rites of passage for the Guthix, for Zaros, and for Seren. But those are 3 quest lines that are pretty much fleshed out and finished. What do you think about some of these new prayers? Are you excited? Do you think they're going to break the damn game? I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Which one are you most excited for? Guthix, Zaros, Seren? One that's not even released yet? Maybe they haven't even talked about what you're most excited for. I know that it's going to be hyped no matter what. It might break the damn game, but you know what? I'm here to do some breaking.